Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. Huge congratulations on the film. I just love how fresh and original it feels, covering really big topics like identity, culture, sexuality, but in this sort of deeply personal and authentic way. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the starting point for the story and why you wanted to tell it.
Started with this guy.
Started with me. Yeah, it started with me a good, I'd say, 8 years ago. I have a feeling that I think a lot of us have, which is that I get really sort of sick and tired of mainstream culture putting me in these very limited identity boxes. I'm mixed race. I'm half Indian, half English, but I'm never one. I've got family of all walks of life. I've had so many different experiences in terms of culture. I've had sexually fluid experiences. I don't really know who I am, and I feel like bottling up that feeling and putting it in a film was quite therapeutic. And I think putting it in my debut film was just seemed right. And it was around about the same time where I met someone called Asifa Lahore, who's now a really close friend of mine. And Asifa, at that time, was the UK's first out South Asian drag queen. And I'd known about the Gaysian scene, the queer South Asian scene that's in the film. I'd known about it. I'd dipped my toes in it. I'd been to famous nights like Club Carly and all that. But I hadn't really got to the true epicenter of it. And I said to Asifa, look, I'm thinking about making a film set in the Gaysian world. Would you be okay with that? Because I would never have done it without her blessing. Luckily, she'd seen a film that Sally and I had done years ago called My Brother the Devil and really liked it. So Asifa came on board as a co-producer and also as a consultant. And I just spent 2 years, in the Gaysian scene, just really getting sort of behind the scenes and met real life Aishas, real life Lukes. And that whole story just kind of came to me, really. And it's also, a lot of it is based on my own life and my own experiences because...
Your family, so.
Exactly, I'm half white, half Indian, and the Indian family in the film were very much inspired by my own, and also the white Essex family inspired by my own too, because I have family who are from the East End. So it was kind of a mixture of my own experiences, Asifa's, and also a lot of the real life Gaysians, in particular the Gaysian queens that I now know very well.
And what I love about these two characters, it's really like two worlds colliding. And on the face of it, they couldn't be more different. This really sort of working class, classic, kind of macho guy, and then this drag queen. But I like the fact that the way they play it as well, both Ben and Jason, is constantly sort of subverting the stereotypes, any kind of assumptions we might be making. And it does feel like Ben and Jason were so perfect for these roles. They were talking earlier, sort of very complimentary about you guys, how you also created this incredible safe space in order for them to play with those push and pull dynamics and the chemistry between them. So what was it like working with these two?
They were great. They were so committed and brave. Ben was on board early. James knew him and his work. And so he was on board. And then we were a bit worried because we didn't know if we'd find our unicorn. And luckily, Laura Winders, our amazing casting director, managed to find Jason and sent us a tape. But we knew everything hinged on them having chemistry in real life. And if you've already met them, then you know they do. There's, no magic to it besides if you're going to do, a two-hander love story, it's really hard to fake that. So you have to find two actors who really have chemistry in real life. So Jason came down and did a screen test with Ben, and their chemistry was off the charts. So we decided that the best thing was for them to get to know each other on camera, and we would keep them apart, actually, and not allow them to do what all actors do, which is exchange numbers and get to know each other before filming. So they actually didn't have any rehearsal together, didn't overlap for any costume or hair and makeup fittings or anything, and just met in their first scene on set. And they, which is brave because that was Jason's first film.
And in terms of sort of the impact of a film like this, as you said at the beginning, I just think the fact that you start with something that can look as though you are kind of trying to put people in a certain box, and then you completely overturn that throughout the course of the film. So hopefully people can have empathy for people who are different from themselves. And it celebrates that idea that actually the thing we're all looking for is to know and accept ourselves, but also to be seen and accepted by others. So even though it can be quite bleak in some of the ways it looks at our current society, there's a real hope and optimism in there, which I hope people take away.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something that we talk about a lot is, I think as filmmakers, we have a responsibility for, the kind of films, obviously, we make, the kind of people that we're making films about. I think more importantly, that the tone of how you leave a film.
Yeah.
The ending of any story is obviously the most important part. Even though, as you said, this is a movie that's very realistic and it's quite gritty and there's some very dramatic things that happen that come from real life instances. But it's also very colourful and it's quite funny. We'd like to think it is an aspirational film that shows that there is hope for people who go through what people like Luke and I should do. And, we really feel strongly that this film is authentic, but also it's a piece of cinema. And I think even though a lot of real-life Gaysians have extremely difficult lives, what I saw and got to know, and it gave me hope, actually, was the fact they found humour in the most dark situations. I remember one time I was out at a club and there was a huge fight that went off, and there were these two queens who, were completely at each other. And about 10 minutes later, they were just, having a joke and having a little bit of a cuddle while one of them was sitting on the back of an ambulance. That's really inspiring, and also that's cinema. And I think those kind of people and situations, they deserve to be on film. I think a lot of things that we make movies about don't deserve to get the cinematic treatment.
And we really wanted the Gaysian community to have that hope, because they are like a minority within a minority within a minority. And, there's a lot of darkness with the stuff that a lot of them have to live through and go through, prejudice from all angles. And having that optimism and that hope was so important to us. But it needed to be realistic, but that leaving it on, having those threads through the film, we felt we owed it to them, that there should be a film that doesn't shy away, but at the same time leaves you with that feeling of hope.
Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you so much.
Huge congratulations on the film, and can't wait for everyone else to see unicorns. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.